Welcome back to Flipper Flicks. My name is Sam. We'll be here every Thursday recording movie reviews for you. And I was going to tell a joke about Dorian Gray because, you know, they never get old, but I decided against it.
There it is. I'm like, I know it's coming.
I know, you guys are just silent on my intros, like waiting for it.
Yep, it's always there somewhere. Just wait.
What was the one where we just started talking, we didn't even notice it? I can't remember.
I don't know.
One of them we just...
never happened.
There was one and only one.
Where you guys ignored me.
Yeah, we just kind of moved on.
I don't think I would have done that. Maybe you, but...
I definitely did. I just steamrolled it.
Rude.
Anyways.
Ay. Well, I guess I'm Tim.
Yes, you are.
Hi, Tim.
This hello. Again, welcome to Flipper Flicks, where we have social media. In case you were curious. That's all I got. I'm just kidding.
Nice.
Yeah.
We won't tell you where.
Yeah, no, just go find us. But we are mostly on Instagram and Twitter. As far as our podcasts go, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, other platforms. If you want us on a specific one, ask us. We'll see if we can get on there. We have our website, flipperflix.com, where you can go and send us your recommendations. We do need more of those. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we're running low.
Running low. We post
Don't make
episodes.
me just ask friends and family.
Right? I feel like we've done that before. We post episodes every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and then sometimes we do, I don't know, bonus episodes or other random episodes, fun episodes. But follow along on Instagram and Twitter and comment, whatnot, and see what we're going to be doing for the week.
Yeah.
That's for real all I got.
That is all he has. So, hi, I'm Adam, and we're Flipper Flicks.
For the third time.
Hi,
Adam.
Yeah. So this week I got Near and Dear, which they claim I've gotten all of them. I have not.
He hasn't. But you
I refuse
picked...
to believe he hasn't.
Yeah, you picked you got the first director's cut, right? And so that's kind of like Near and Dear. It's not really, but it can be.
You mean Dealer's Choice?
Yeah, whatever. Sorry. They're all the same. DC, right? Like, my brain.
Yeah. Anyway. So I got Near and Dear, and I was picking between two movies because, although I know Tim had seen both of these, and he's watched them both extensively, Van Helsing and The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And I was like, you know what? The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is on HBO Max, so we're going to watch that instead. Because I'm not dealing with trying to find Van Helsing. Albeit we own the DVD on both of them. Tim, I was like, let's make it easy on you.
Yeah, that's fair.
And now HBO Max is loading my thing. It was just there.
Buffering.
Yeah, here's the synopsis of this film if you've not seen it. It came out in 2003. Rated PG-13. Has Dolby 5.1, and it's in HD. 1 hour and 50 minutes.
Nice.
There you go. There's the synopsis. No, I'm just kidding. Legendary adventurer Allan Quatermain leads our great literary characters of 19th century fiction against a murderous madman.
Whoa.
I liked how that ended.
I know. The other one was like, I was telling Sam and Tim this. It was like IMDb's like a Victorian era alternate universe Victorian era adventure, and I'm like, what?
While true.
You told me nothing.
I don't think that'll get people to watch it.
You told me nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I can dive into my expectations. I was scared to watch this. Tim, I don't know if you felt that, like when we go back and watch some of like our old action films from like when we were growing up. I just was like, oh, is this going to be super cheesy? Not just like the lines, but just like the fight scenes and whatnot. So I was like, there's a bit of nervousness in my system. And then I was like, I'm curious what Sam's like going to think of this. And Tim, I'm like, he's going to love it no matter what, because he loved it growing up. So, yeah, Tim, what about you? What were your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, I remember enjoying the film. I like Sean Connery a lot, so, you know.
Like The Rock?
You know, The Rock, yeah. I hadn't seen it in a while, so I definitely had the same sort of, like, fear of it being not up to snuff.
Yeah.
I think my biggest fear was actually just the animation and CGI sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I wasn't. I guess I was excited.
Yeah.
Besides that fact, but I was a little hesitant with that.
Yeah, and like I was expecting, I couldn't remember like the music at all, but we've watched multiple action films from the 2000s, and they just love putting rock music throughout it. I was like, oh god, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm gonna tell you now, it's not in it, but I definitely was expecting that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So for the third person,
Me.
yes.
Well, I knew that you guys both liked it. I knew that it was popular at the time because my brother liked it. This is how I gauge if it's popular. If all three of you were like, "It was so good," I was like,
Her
"All right."
brother's my age,
yeah,
so.
It was popular. Then, if all three of you liked it, I never watched it. I feel like I saw bits of it. Like,
One of the sub scenes you were saying, oh, I remember this.
yeah, I had seen like one of the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde scenes, and then I have also seen the spot where they first meet Dorian in the library. I had seen that scene because for some reason both of those I was like, oh, I've seen this scene, and that was it. Like those are the only two scenes. I was on the fence about it, I guess. Like I feel like all of our stuff is kind of similar on this one. Like I was a little excited because I was like, all right, let's see what these guys have been hyping up for the past how many years? 17, 18 years. And then part of me was like, is it really going to be that good? Like,
oh yeah, no, it's understandable concern.
and I especially feel like recently we've been on a trend where we've been rewatching some films.
And it's like,
and it's kind of like, ooh, like we had watched like a bunch of Will Ferrell films and stuff like that. And it's just like, oh, I don't know if they're as good as they used to be. So, not that this is like a Will Ferrell film, but it's from the early 2000s.
It's just like Will Ferrell film, Sam.
So anyway, I was excited to see what you guys were all hyped about. How about that?
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay. Yeah, so let's dive in. Spoilers.
Dive in.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. An unintentional pun.
Nice.
But we get, like, this movie, it starts out with basically, like, these, like, not mercenaries, evil villains, madmen, trying to take over fucking, like, just start a world war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, I don't believe you. And I was like, well, it is the 1900s. It's like 1899.
Specifically.
Right.
Yeah.
Specifically.
They said that a couple times.
They did, yeah. And my first question was, how often do you guys think scientists actually wear lab coats?
Ooh.
How often? I think quite often.
Yeah, because I was going to say,
a point
like,
to them, right?
Yeah, like their protective gear for like beakers and stuff like that. Like if you're a chemist, you wear it a lot.
Yeah.
If you're
a physicist, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. If you're dealing with like
anything that could get on you and take home. Yeah. In this case, they probably were. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was just curious. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like to Tim's point, there's a purpose to them, and I feel like it's mostly for chemicals. If I had to guess a purpose.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're a biologist, you don't want to get all the guts on you.
What about geologists?
Maybe.
Maybe.
They don't want to get that
Certain
sediment all
situation.
over them.
Well, if you have like some sort of like lava rock or like rock from another planet and it's got radioactive material, you need that.
What's the whole thing with caves? You can't go into a cave if you've been into another cave recently. Well, you can't wear the clothing from cave 1 into cave 2.
Yes, because of like the
shit.
The stuff that gets on your clothes can like really fuck with the bats.
Tim, we're scientists.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, bats are very sensitive. Bats kill mosquitoes. I like bats.
Yes.
We have a bat house that we need to put up still. But I want to say, I'm going to continue on. Apparently, I wrote my first 2 notes are about outfits.
Nice.
Allan Quatermain, the first time we were introduced to him, he's like hidden to the side so that like fake Allan Quatermain can talk to him.
Yes.
Tell all his stories.
Yes.
Have you ever noticed that everybody in Africa, all of those game hunters, wear the exact same outfit.
Like the
Yeah,
khakis,
pretty
with
much.
the vest.
But
Right.
again,
The
reason for it,
adventure
right?
I know. That one, I don't know if there's much of a reason.
That's what the
It's just the style.
Yeah, that's the safari style.
I mean, like, if you go to a golf course, everybody's going to look the same there, too.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if you put yourself... I actually just want to compliment this movie in a few ways. Like,
I'm intrigued.
if the style is, like, 1899 in, like, the Victorian era, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's very possible that if you're going on an exotic vacation or something like that, you've got that whole getup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're, like, rich, I assume. And then the other thing is, like, I don't know, like, whoever's in charge of the sets, I don't know if that's, like, production design or whoever, like, a lot of the chairs and stuff were, like, very fancy antique
yeah, they were
chairs.
beautiful chairs.
And, like, there were a few different library scenes, like, when they first meet M, and then I think there's another library when they meet Dorian, if those are separate libriaries or the same library. I don't know. The libraries looked nice.
They
So I
were
was
two
saying,
libraries. They're
yeah.
separate. Yeah, because Dorian was at his house. Tim, did you know this was a comic book?
I think I knew back in the day somebody had talked about that. It being
Yeah,
based off a comic book, yeah.
Yeah, because to me, I was laughing to myself. I'm like, this is like the Avengers here.
I know. So that was kind of part of the issue, I guess, that I had is, like, I really love that they picked these specific characters because I feel like you don't necessarily, like, while there are stories about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Dorian Gray and all of that, I also feel like they kind of dropped off for a while. Like, I haven't,
Yeah.
they don't really come back that much. So I thought it was a very cool idea to bring them all together.
Motherfucking Captain Nemo.
But
Yeah,
by
Nemo.
this time in, like in 2003, this was a great idea, right? And
Yeah.
even up until, like, we started putting a bunch of,
Superhero
before
films.
Fantastic Four, before Avengers, before X-Men, like, that would have been the time, which I guess is when this kind of came out.
Yeah.
But now it kind of feels like, oh, here's a band of people. You know what I mean?
I know. Like,
and it makes me kind
it's
of
much
sad.
More like, it's much more of like a normal thing. I mean,
Yeah.
we both know that X-Men 2 came out before this because I watched it on DVD. We watched it on our DVD, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember how they used to have like the scene selection guides in it?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, so I have a scene selection guide. And I was like dying from laughter from that. Then I had a coupon for X-Men 2 for $3 off. Unfortunately, it expired. Fucking rude.
Well, jeez.
I know. So disappointed. I was like, I'm going to go get a second copy of X-Men 2 because I already own it.
Yeah, $3 off is a good deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
Back then, it was probably, what, $18 to buy
the
a
whole
DVD?
amount to rent it.
That is true.
So there you go.
That is true. So you don't bother renting it. Just buy it at that point if you think you're going to watch it.
That's true. But what you were saying, I think DVDs were more expensive back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now-
I think so.
Now, another thing, so I didn't get the action, like, fighting rock music that I was, for some weird reason, thinking I was going to get.
Mm-hmm.
I did get, like, that, I feel like I don't see it as much anymore, using props to fight people. Like, they use their surroundings. Like, fucking Quatermain, when he's fighting everybody at the beginning, he takes, like, a coffee table and slams it on someone's head.
Yeah.
And, like, he gets stuck in it. I loved that. I don't know how realistic it
Like
is, but I thought it was
environmental weapons, yeah. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're there, you might as well use them, right?
It was like very, I got a very much like a Jackie Chan, like Rush Hour vibe from that. Maybe not Rush Hour, Shanghai Noon. I don't know.
I don't know. That sounds very.
Do they use a lot of tables and stuff?
Yeah, in the Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Night with Owen Wilson, he uses, Jackie Chan always uses the environment though.
Nice.
They're classics from when I was a kid. And then, I don't know, this one was just kind of crazy how it started, which from the comics is very different. Quatermain isn't the leader.
Oh.
Mina Harker is the vampire lady, is the
Yeah.
leader of the Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Oh.
So in
She
the
kind
comic,
of like recruits everyone or whatever, and like
Yeah.
she gives that vibe in the movie, in my opinion. But
she gives the vibe a little bit, but they straight up, like, the way she recruited Quatermain is so weird that it's like so different. He was an opioid addict who ran off from England, and she was like, she is a scientist, so she helped him wean him off of it and recruited him that way.
Oh.
But
Interesting.
Sean Connery's like, I'm not doing that shit. My character's not going to be an opioid addict.
Yeah, I like that.
I think it plays better for the film.
I agree.
Yes, but I think they also reduce Mina.
They reduce Mina and Nemo a ton in this movie.
Yeah, especially her. Like, anytime she's drinking blood, they, like, overly sexualize it.
And
I'm like,
it's the early 2000s.
can we not?
Oh,
and
100%. That's all that was. Like,
and then I think it's, like, Quatermain specifically is, like, pretty sexist to her a few times. And I was like,
incredibly.
She's a vampire. She could kill you. Like, I would just
Right.
watch your mouth a little bit.
Right,
She's
just a
literally
little
immortal.
bit. The only reason she's not hurting you is because she's choosing not to.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, and I lulled when, like, they were talking about Van Helsing, because that was my other pick, and I was like, hey!
Yeah.
No, like, Quatermain, yeah. He was, like, blessed by a witch doctor so that he couldn't die. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this bitch is fucking, she's literally immortal.
Yeah.
Take a wooden stake, maybe. But.
Garlic and whatnot.
There's something we watched with vampires that they eat garlic, and they're like, I just don't like it. Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Glad we all watched it together.
I know. It got there. I got there.
I knew what you were talking about. I just couldn't remember. And he's like, I just don't like garlic. It's the dad or whatever, the main big guy.
Yeah, Ed Herman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they put a fuckload of garlic in it.
Like, so much.
Classic.
But they reduced Nemo as well. Like, he has a bigger part normally.
He is one of, like, I think he and Mina make a lot of the decisions in the comics, which they reduced because basically they paid Sean Connery almost their whole budget.
Gotcha.
They were originally going to get a lot more actors, and then, Sean Connery's like, I need this much money.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, I do feel like Nemo gets quite a bit of
screen time?
I guess, like, props, right? Because he
fucking
supplies
dope.
the car at the beginning and later on, which is a cool car, by the way. And then he supplies the whole freaking Nautilus. So,
and his military.
And a lot of his military takes out a lot of people. So, like, without him, they would have been, like, a little bit SOL, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, now I obviously, like, I was talking about Sean Connery being the big person, but the guy that plays Captain Nemo, Nasir Rudin, they were in Prague for, like, all the scenes in England are actually done in Prague. So I'm like, haha, we've been there. Yeah. They go to an Indian restaurant. The proprietor of the Indian restaurant is like, oh my god, you're here. Not to Sean Connery, to the guy playing Captain fucking Nemo. Yeah. So he's like, will you guys please set up my best table? I'm going to wait on you.
Aww.
So I kind of loved that, reading about that, because obviously most people would be like, oh fuck, it's Sean Connery.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting it's in Prague, because I was actually wondering if a lot of this was a studio, just because it gets, like, so dark. You know what I mean? And I guess that's maybe just, like, what they did in post or something. But I was just like, dang. This looks like it looks pretty much like they stepped out of the comic book. Not that I've seen the comic book, but, like...
Yeah, I'm interested in reading it.
Like, it was very dark and dreary and stuff.
Yeah, Tim, what did you think of the CGI, though?
It was a little rough at times, but I think I mean... Yeah,
I didn't even think it was that bad.
It wasn't that bad, but there were definitely times where it's like, well, this is obviously an earlier movie, like when CGI was newer, but it wasn't like Fast and the Furious 1 bad. It was fine. Like, it was very, like, didn't bother me, I should say. So that fear for me was gone. So I was just enjoying the film at that point. And all of Nemo's stuff, which without Nemo, where would they be?
Right.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But all of Nemo's stuff is amazing. I don't understand how he fits in some of these places with that.
No.
At one point, the sub boat, whatever you want to call it, seems like gigantic. And then he's going through the city in it, and I'm like,
city of fucking Venice.
There's no way it doesn't fit.
There. It was like comical about how it like fit in there. Like it definitely looks like it scraped one of the bridges at one point.
It did.
It did, yeah.
It did. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why they said we can't go any further.
Yeah.
Because he started hitting the bridge.
Hey guys, so This is as far as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah. The worst part is like later in the film. For me, like the CGI, the worst part is during the Mr. Hyde fight.
Yes, when that other guy drinks
The like
it.
abomination version.
Yeah.
That is probably the worst part. Like for the rest of it though, like I didn't really like it didn't bother me. Like Tim, you said, I lost that fear and I just sat back and I rolled with it. Because once I noticed they weren't playing rock music, both of my fears gone. I can just be like, listen to Sean Connery do his thing.
Right.
Yeah, I did have a note, like, when was this movie made? Because I wanted to try to figure out, like, and that, I did not talk about that note was specifically from the Hyde fight. Because I was like, until then I was kind of like, oh, okay, this looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, for some reason he just looked weird.
Mr. Hyde is actually, like, props. Like, that's it. He's running around like that.
Yeah, because he didn't look that bad.
No, he didn't.
He looked weird, but he's supposed to look weird.
Yeah,
right.
like,
I mean, he's like chemically and strengthened and stuff. So yeah, he looks a little weird, but
yeah, the Hulk looks a little weird.
That too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did laugh at that it was like very Hulk-esque.
right.
Yeah.
And I was like, Nemo's like Iron Man, where he's supplying them with all the fucking shit.
This is true.
It's not actually nearly a good as comparison as Mr.
I mean, yeah, but still, he's got everything. The technology is just there. He's got everything, and he can whip that sword around, that saber around.
Dude, he did his best to do his own stunts.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Like he went and trained to do his own stunts for this film.
That's
cool.
awesome.
I'm like, this motherfucker's like spinning and shit.
Yeah, during that Hyde fight or whatever, he like slashed him like 100 times. It's a lot.
Yeah, it felt like an anime to me.
Yeah, a little bit.
That scene alone, but I would say like the rest of this movie felt like a video game.
Sure.
I don't know. I also wanted this to be a video game growing up. I know that for a fact.
So you're like layering that back into there.
Yeah.
There were parts of it where I think it was towards the end, where I had kind of gotten like, oh, this is kind of like a sneaky. Oh, I know what it was. Okay, so like when they first get into, I don't even know where they were, where it was like icy and then there's this castle and what's the invisible guy's name?
Skinner.
When he first goes in there and it, like all you see is like his point of view of him like holding the stuff. It reminded me of like a first person shooter game because like that's literally all you like. It's the same viewpoint, but that was the only time that I noticed it.
Dude, speaking of Skinner, this is kind of a crazy like thing. So you know how like everybody is from the literary like from literal from books.
From literal books.
Yeah, literary classics.
Yes.
He is not the Invisible Man. Skinner is not.
Oh.
Because they did not get the rights to H.G. Wells' The Invisible Man. They do their best to never say the word the Invisible Man. They say an Invisible Man.
I like that loophole.
And like they actually clarified it pretty well because the scientist died and he fucking stole that shit. So like it worked. And apparently early on in the script he was going to be working for for the British government because they suspected of M being a bad guy. So they sent him in.
Oh.
Yeah. But then they slashed that, and I thought it was better that they did. I like Skinner being kind of like a scoundrel.
Yeah.
He was always funny to me.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed him. An obvious red herring, too, but...
Oh, yeah. For sure. Did you catch that, or did you think it was Skinner, Sam?
I would say I probably thought it was Skinner.
He's just easy to guess.
Yeah.
Taking the easy route.
But then when they were like, Dorian's a baddie, I'm like, that makes sense too. Like... Yeah,
it fits.
So, yeah, I would say that they successfully tricked me. I do have a few, like, beef points. Like,
That's fine. Let's hear them.
I feel like the Phantom looks, like, overly ridiculous.
About how he had fake scars and shit?
Yes.
To cover his actual face.
And his, like, helmet and stuff like that. Like,
I thought that was clever.
Yeah, but, like, I guess again, like, maybe if this was the first time seeing it back in the early 2000s, you'd be like, oh, he's such a cool looking villain. But now that you have...
I had no opinion.
What was the villain from Fantastic Four?
Dr. Doom?
Dr. Doom,
And he
yeah.
kind of looks similar. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just glossing them
I
all
don't
together.
remember.
But I was just kind of like, oh, this looks like your typical villain. Like, we couldn't get something a little bit better. And then I also have beef with, like, the freaking American just rolls up and he gets to be, like, second in charge. Or they give that vibe off. And I'm like,
Dude.
You can't do anything. Like,
He's not in the books. He's not in the comics.
No shit. I'm just kidding.
Now, any guesses as to why they added him?
I have no idea.
Studios didn't believe that this movie would do well without an American hero in it.
Wow.
So they had... What?
Lame.
Yeah, I know. I was like Sawyer was fine. Like, I had no issues with him. But I do laugh that his name, he's literally Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
And he only came over because Agent Huckleberry Finn was murdered by the Phantom.
Yeah, it was just like a little bit too much. And then
It was a little over the top.
There's a
The
lot
fact-
of it.
that he can't like do shit and he basically has to learn it. Like, I don't know. I just didn't feel like he was needed. I would have preferred like another.
He was budget Dominic Monaghan.
Yeah.
I always thought he looked like Mary Tim.
Yeah. That makes
Sorry,
sense.
Sam.
No, it's
Go.
okay.
You go. You go.
I just feel like it would have been better to have like another extraordinary person.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Because he-
guess they kind of like are like, oh, he's learning to take over Sean Connery's role, but
Well, yeah. So a lot of them signed a three movie contract, except for the guy who played Dorian Gray.
Oh, he fucked it all up.
No. Apparently,
Oh, well,
Sean.
he died, so it was
Yeah,
fine.
he died. He literally said, "My character dies. Why am I
would
doing a
come back?"
3-year contract?"
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
But the other people were supposed to do. They were supposed to be making a sequel, but it didn't do as well in the box office as expected. Also, Sean Connery and the director got into a lot of fights. Apparently, there were screaming matches constantly.
Oh, man.
And I was like,
funny.
yeah, because like they had to redo something, and Sean Connery's old as shit at this point, and he's like, I don't want to redo it.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I'm fucking Sean Connery.
I'm not redoing it.
Yeah. No, so apparently, and then the director's like, I hate doing... He didn't enjoy working with like a large production company because they got to put a lot more input on the story. He didn't get to tell his story as much.
Gotcha.
So
Wah, wah.
that's just that's the movie business.
That's show business, folks.
That's the word I was looking for.
Nah, that's the movie business.
That's the movie
I like
business.
that better.
Now, yeah, Tim, did you actually know many of the other stories? I didn't know. I don't know Mina Harker's story, but I knew Dorian Gray.
Yeah, I knew a couple of them. Obviously Jekyll and Hyde. Dorian Gray was a common one for me. Mina's,
The
I
Portrait of
mean,
Dorian Gray.
you know, part of the Dracula thing, but I didn't know a lot about her at all.
Nemo, obviously. We all know him.
Nemo, yeah. Mhm.
And then Quatermain, I was like, did they fucking make up this character? No.
I always wondered that too, but it seems like he had enough background.
He was written in the 1800s, like
That's
1897, barely the 1800s. But yeah, and then Moriarty being the fucking villain, I was like, that. I didn't get that as a kid. I didn't know who the fuck Moriarty was.
Moriarty, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that's cool. Why are they saying his name like that's important?
Right.
Like,
Read a book. I'm just kidding.
read a fucking Sherlock Holmes book.
Damn.
I'm just kidding. No, I thought that was cool too. That
Like-
they like intertwined more literary people.
Yeah, I was like,
It was a
look
fun
at
thing
that.
for sure.
Yeah, and I really liked how they, I don't know, I just liked how, I like how they do that, like, because the comic books, they're all set up kind of to do that, like, Marvel Comics, DC
Right.
Comics, but this is like, let's take a bunch of shit that's already been written, put it together.
Yeah.
But I do like how Hyde, in this film, I like how Hyde and Skinner, most of their motivation to stop them from taking like their their potions, their blood, and making other versions of it. They're like, well, Hyde is like, I don't want there to be other versions of me out there.
Yeah.
And then Skinner's like, fuck that, I want to be the, but I am an Invisible Man.
Right. I'll lose my
It won't be
brand or
quite
whatever he
as
said.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. But like everybody else is like, yeah, we gotta save the world, guys.
Yeah. Well, and at this point, like, Dorian takes, like, Nemo's escape pod, and I'm just wondering, like, how does he know how to drive that?
Yeah, so I had some beef with that.
Dorian is old as fuck, though.
True, but, like, I don't know. Nemo's stuff is all pretty, like, cutting edge, in my opinion.
It is.
And so, for him just to be able to, like, nope out with it, I was kind of like,
He did sneak around a lot, so I would imagine he may have found some way to do it just by looking at all of the technology available. And maybe there's some behind the scenes, like, talking with Nemo about stuff, but you never know. Nemo could also have been like, hey, if you need to, this could be like an escape pod sort of thing.
That's true.
If this was like a Wes Anderson film, he would have pointed out the escape pod at one point.
Yeah.
This is not a Wes Anderson film, though.
But on that same line...
I would love to see that movie, though. Sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was riffing.
I have some issues with the technology. So, like, first, in the very beginning, the dude yelling at the tank to halt.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
And just getting run over. Like, what? Okay, whatever. And then at one point, Sawyer and Quatermain are the ones left in the car, and they're driving. And he literally says, I don't know how to drive this thing. I don't think you would know the word drive if it's the first vehicle you've seen.
That's true.
Like, because you don't drive a boat, you don't drive a submarine, you don't drive a horse. Like, so where did he get the word drive from? I always had an issue with that.
Gotcha.
Also, nobody does because cars weren't around yet.
Right. They're just kind of going. Like, why? How are they just, like, perfectly driving this thing? And then
I thought you were going to say with that scene when Sean Connery jumps out of a fast-moving vehicle.
Oh, that too. That all bullshit. And he just lands and keeps running.
I know. I was like, old man going to break his knees.
Right. More than that.
I know.
And then like the bombs on Nemo's boat. Like, just nobody. Like, it pans right past the dude that just walked past one. It's like, nobody notices that? I don't know. Those were my beefs with the movie. But
That's fair.
My beef was they all put their hands together like, go team.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Well, they don't even say anything, which fair. They shouldn't have put their hands together. But it was just like this awkward moment of like, everybody put your hands in and then don't say anything. Like, it was very awkward. I did not understand it.
Yeah. And then, Tim, you know more about guns than I do. Machine guns. When did they I thought, for some weird reason, I thought they were somewhat around, like, towards the end of World War One. Definitely not handheld assault, like no automatic weapons.
I mean, the Gatling was the first sort of, like, machine gun, right, that I understand. And I'm sure there was, like, experimental ones. Well, that being said, I think, what was this year supposed to be?
1899.
Yeah, so there definitely were some, like, experimental ones. Like, if I just take the game, like, Hunt Showdown for, like, reference here, I don't know. Anyway, there's like a gun called the Optimat in it, which is based off of a real experiment, where they took a Mosin rifle and made it automatic with a drum. It's more of, like, in the game, this is what I'm explaining, but it's based off of, like, reality from, like, the 1865 or something like that. So there was definitely, like, experimental weapons back in the day. So, like, the idea that the technology was advanced for, you know, Moriarty and whatnot makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, he is supposed to be, like, this mad scientist.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Or kidnapping scientists and making them work. Kind of more of that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was just curious because I don't know much about it. I just remember World War I facts from high school. Thanks, American history.
There you go.
Yeah, it's weird. This shit that you remember from school. No, so they jump through, like, they blow up Venice, they blow up submarine, they blow up the Arctic. Tiger just rolls up and is like, nah, I'm good, man.
Yeah, I'm out. See you.
I was like, let me just hit you in the face with symbolism.
Yeah. Seriously. Especially with, like, whatever Nemo said, like, what did he say? Like, something about an old man basically, like, knowing it's his time to go. Or
that
whatever.
Was Quatermain.
Yeah, and I know. I'm just saying, like, it was, like, way too, like
Maybe it's an
It was
old
thrown
man's
in your
time to
face.
go.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently, the lady that played Mina did a Sean Connery. She at one point does a Sean Connery impression, and it's terrible. And he just like went off screen and just started laughing.
Nice.
Really?
Because he knows his accent is really thick.
Yeah.
And everybody likes to do his accent. And she threw it in because her character's supposed to be making fun of him.
Oh, yeah. That's
And
funny.
he just like was like, oh my god, is that what I sound like? But yeah, I thought it was outside of the director and Sean Connery. I like to believe that they all got along. I always like to think that though.
Yeah. I have some questions about the Nautilus, and maybe we covered this in our 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but, like, this Nautilus is obviously very different than that one,
Yes.
right? And so is it actually supposed to be the sword of the ocean, or did they just make that up for this movie?
It might be from the comics, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Because I guess I was just curious, like, which one is more correct. I have to assume the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea one from Disney is more correct, but I don't actually know.
I think
I've
that
never
one's
looked.
more like a very direct interpretation, whereas this one's more like fantasy, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. During my very quick Google search, it does come up as the Nautilus, but it also comes up as from the movie. So...
Yeah, I just feel like I liked this interpretation of it, I guess, is what
Yeah.
I'm getting at. But
I'm glad they didn't just like copy paste.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was kind of confused if, like, that was from the comic or if that was just, like...
It's a fucking cool ass
Ad-libbing.
title.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Well, and it did look like a sword, right? So
Yeah,
was
it
cool.
did. Cutting through like the ice and whatnot.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's pretty sweet.
And then just, like, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, it was really nice inside. Like, I was like, nice. I'm glad that it's not just, like, a basic...
Like
basic
boring ass
situation.
gray tunnel.
Yeah, exactly.
It's bougie as shit.
But I was very depressed that they didn't have that little room that they, like, all jump out of and jump back in.
Oh yeah, they did have a kind of like a throwback to their scuba suits though.
Yeah.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
I was Sam and I were like, yeah, so excited, and then shit starts blowing up.
Yeah. And one of the things I noticed, like, right after they blew up parts of the Nautilus, like, they basically, like, they figure it all out, right? And then the first thing they do is, like, put this big coffee table back, and they put the chairs back. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, our first priority is not to check that everyone's okay. We gotta rearrange.
Yeah, we
The
didn't
room,
just
you know.
basically say we're gonna doom like 30 men.
Yeah, exactly. We just gotta redecorate
If it weren't for Hyde.
Yeah.
Actually, did it like go down like kind of like how the Nautilus did in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, where like
Yeah, kinda.
yeah,
I don't remember.
maybe that's just kind of how ships go down though.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. There's physics involved. I need a lab coat. No, so the end, they're like they all split up because they have to. Mina, I keep trying to call her Nina. Mina goes to fuck off Dorian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got Hyde and Nemo saving the world, saving the humans.
Mm-hmm.
Skinner's doing his planning bomb shit. He's like, I am pretty good at being stealth.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is there? Quatermain and Sawyer. We'll hunt him. We're hunters. We're manly men.
We'll run after them, and then, oh shit, this is another invisible person. What am I gonna do?
Right.
Dude, I didn't know this. I actually had to read it. That other invisible man is the guy who recruited Quatermain at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, that's funny.
Makes sense, right?
I'm surprised that they had like a Jekyll and Hyde and then the invisible guy, but they didn't do a vampire.
I know.
Yeah.
Probably because the Mino is taking care of Dorian. Couldn't one-on-one.
Yeah, but I think it would have been more of like
Complete.
who would have fought him, you know? Like, I guess who did they have left that would have fought them? I guess no one.
Yeah.
Well, Skinner could have had more of a like, the guy just shows up and Skinner's just like, nope, and just like stabs him or something. That would actually have been pretty funny, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But no, I agree with you. That makes that it's kind of weird that they didn't do that. Also, vampires, the only way vampires are made that I know of is by neck bite.
I know, I was very
yeah,
confused by
maybe
that.
that's also why, because they were just like, well, this isn't possible.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the Lost Boys, they just made him drink blood, right? So technically they could have just drank her blood.
This is second fucking Lost Boys reference.
I know.
Yeah.
Who knew that it would come in handy?
Haven't talked about it in months.
Yeah. It's all in there, man. It's all in there.
I know.
Ready to come out when you need it.
Whenever we talk about vamps.
Yeah.
But the Moriarty fight in like what was a junk room?
Yeah.
It was just like an attic.
Yeah.
Just random shit everywhere. They did the more prop fighting shit that I liked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the classic I'm gonna teach you how to do it before I die scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Dramatically dies too. Like...
I know. I did get a good laugh out of how he died.
Mm-hmm.
Just falls on, like, is sitting down and just, like, drops his head. But I do want to say, it's not a say, it's a question. Who do you guys think, growing up, who do you think my favorite character was?
Nemo.
Dorian Gray.
It was Dorian Gray.
Look at that.
Dorian Gray, and then Nemo is my other one, though.
Mm-hmm.
I did love Nemo.
Yeah, how could you not like Nemo in
He's
this
a
version?
fucking badass. But
He's
I just
like the best.
I just like sword fighting, the way like the fencing sort of style sword fighting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there are lots of jokes online about like how Elijah Wood and Paul Rudd have portraits in their attics that are growing old.
That's hilarious.
And now you get it.
Yeah.
I think I've told you that. You're like, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried to read the portrait of Dorian Gray once. It didn't go over well.
Too old for you.
I don't read no good old English.
True.
It uses lots of words to describe one
a little
thing.
too descriptive for
Yeah.
you.
Give me some dialogue, man. Can you give me the spark notes of it?
Wait, who was your favorite character, Tim? Nemo?
No, back in the day, it probably was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Nice.
Really? I would guess Quatermain.
But yeah, I probably every time I watch the movie it changes because I'm like thinking about it now. I'm like my top three are Quatermain, Nemo, and Jekyll and Hyde. But I just really like Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah,
Quatermain's
he does a great
cool,
job.
but yeah, the guy who plays him and stuff, and it just like I like the idea of that combo. I don't know, but that being said, Hulk isn't my favorite, but I do like Hulk. Yeah, so
Ed Norton's my favorite Hulk, but
yeah, you say that. I don't know. I don't have a fascination with Edward Norton. A lot of people are like, he's amazing, and I like his acting, but I don't know.
yeah, no, Mark Ruffalo just never did it for me.
Mark Ruffalo fit the look, but
Yeah.
anywho.
Anyways, we're talking
This
about the League of
movie.
Extraordinary Gentlemen. Tim, you got any more notes?
I am out.
Me too. Sam threw it down a while ago.
Yeah, but my note is like, the ending! It makes more sense that they wanted to do a sequel, because they definitely leave it off.
With zombie fucking Quatermain?
Yeah, Zombie Quatermain. I'm interested.
Yeah, they were going to, but then they just never did. I wouldn't be shocked if they... Well, I don't know if they can remake it at this point, because, like, so many superhero films that are, like, not like this movie, but they're just a band of extraordinary folks getting together.
I feel like if they did remake it, it would have to be more of, like, a Netflix original or, like, a streaming original.
Right.
Maybe even, like, a limited series or something like that. Because I think...
Love limited series.
There's a place in this world for, like, kind of the spooky old Victorian shit. And so I
Carnival
could
Row.
see that, yeah, like I could see that coming back in a way, but then I do think it'll suffer a lot from people being like, oh, I've seen this already. Marvel did it, or whatever.
Yeah. But anyways.
Hey guys, let's chat about Anchor, shall we? Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free and allows you to record with friends and edit your podcast right on your phone or computer. What's even better is that Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. This was such a huge plus for us since we know nothing about that sort of thing. Another perk we love about Anchor is that it will allow you to make money with no minimum listenership. Again, a huge win. Anchor makes creating and managing a podcast so easy since it's all in one place.
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Yes.
Let's get to the cast. Allan Quatermain is played by Sean Connery.
What? That's who that was?
He's in The Rock, Tim's favorite movie from the 90s. I don't know if it's your favorite movie, but...
I wouldn't say favorite, but it is up there.
James Bond and The Untouchables. I didn't feel like writing multiple James Bonds down, but he's in multiple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So one thing on this... so Sean Connery originally was offered a role in The Matrix.
Oh.
He's like, I don't understand the script. I'm going to pass.
That's
and that one
amazing.
I'm like, okay, I can kind of get there.
It would be a very different movie. I don't know. I feel like
I
Sean
think he was
Connery's...
Morpheus, maybe?
Yeah, he's more of like this oldie, action-y guy. And like
Yeah.
The Matrix is more like new wave action, if that makes sense at all.
And then the following year, he was offered a role in Lord of the Rings.
Oh
Fellowship
my
of the Ring.
god.
He was offered I believe he was offered Gandalf.
Okay.
And then he's like, I don't understand the script.
I love this.
And then, so he's like, I'm going to pass.
How ridiculous.
I know.
All right.
This is amazing.
So he gets to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He's like, all right, so I've passed on 2 scripts I don't understand. This third one that I don't understand, I'm going to say yes to. Because the other 2 did amazing.
And snooze, you lose.
Poor little fella.
I know. So, like, it's just so funny. Like, I don't understand it. I'm going to skip. Which I can kind of get. Like, you want to... Like, if you're going to be doing work on this for months, you want to know what you're doing.
Yeah, and you don't want to roll up and half-ass, especially if it's like you're as big as like Sean Connery, because then people will start to be like, well, he's just, circling the drain.
Yeah.
So I kind of get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so Captain Nemo. Going on. He's played by Nasiruddin Shah. Shaw? Yeah, Shaw. I couldn't tell if it was an N or an H. He's in A Wednesday, Iqbal, and Safarosh.
Okay.
I've never heard of any of those, but he apparently is big enough for an Indian Indian restaurant proprietor to be excited for him, which is cool. Mina Harker is played by Peta Wilson, and she's in La Femme Nikita. Superman Returns, and then Vanishing Point, which I feel like Vanishing Point is a known film.
Yeah.
No idea.
I feel like I've heard of it. Skinner, who I swear I've heard his voice before, but I couldn't find the movie or anything, is played by Tony Curran. He's in Caliber, Deadwood, and The Outlaw King. Tim, maybe you've heard him? I don't know. I just thought he had a familiar voice.
I'm not sure.
Nah, I don't know either. Dorian Gray is played by Stuart Townsend. He's in Queen of the Damned, Battle in Seattle. I just love that rhymes.
Yeah, that's a good name.
And then Chaos Theory. Clearly, none of these people are in any huge movies.
Yeah.
And then Tom Sawyer is played by Shane West.
He looked familiar.
He's in A Walk to Remember. Okay. What We Do is Secret. I got really excited. So that one was written, What We Do, I... ...
And you were like,
I was like, no fucking way. And then he was nobody. And then he's in Dracula 2000. Yep. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde are played by Jason Fleming. He's in Tim. Prepare yourself. He's in Deep Rising. Did you know that already?
No. I'm trying to think of who he is.
I have no idea. That'd be a lot of effort to actually write down their characters. Yeah. So I don't. He's also in a movie From Hell and then The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
He looked familiar, so...
He did some other bigger stuff. And the Moriarty, M, is played by Richard Ruxburg. Mm-hmm. He plays Dracula in Van Helsing.
Oh.
Whoa.
Look at that.
He plays the Duke in the Moulin Rouge.
Yeah. I saw it and then I was like, is it not him? Is it him?
I didn't recognize
he doesn't have
it.
his all, like, in Moulin Rouge, he has that nasally voice, and I was like,
yes, he talks like this.
But yeah.
And then he's also in Sanctum. Nice. The director is Stephen Norrington. He did Blade.
So good.
Yeah, he did The Last Minute and Death Machine as well. Much smaller films, but yeah, Blade was huge when it came out.
So good.
One of the first superhero movies technically speaking, Howard the Duck is the first Marvel comic
Oh,
book
God.
movie.
What a one to start off with.
I think there are older, like Captain America ones too, maybe.
And Superman and all that, yeah.
Well, Marvel.
Okay, sorry.
There's a difference. All right, Sam. We're going to play a Latin quiz.
Oh, God.
What does Nemo mean?
I have no idea.
Nameless. It's why he says I am no one.
Nice.
Because he's Captain No One.
Nice little fact.
Nailed it.
Thank
See,
you.
I took Latin.
All right, so the critics give this film a 17%.
Ooh.
Audience give it a 44%.
Errr.
IMDb gave it a 5.8 out of 10. And Google gave it an 80%.
Google. Always with the high ratings.
I know. Not always. We said that in season 1, but like season 2, it's not been that
Well,
high.
they heard us, and they're like, well, we got to change it up.
We
a
gotta
little
fucking kick it down a little
exactly.
bit. Basically, everything they watch is 90%.
We're getting shit on.
Like, yeah. So, I'll go first. Yes, I'd flip it on. It bypassed all my fears.
Nice.
They were gone. Out of the picture.
Nice.
I was happy about it. I don't know, it's fun. I like Victorian era shit. So, yeah. How about you, Tim?
Yeah, I like the whole Victorian era fantasy stuff. I like when you have something that is placed in a world of realism, but then there's things that are like Nemo's technology or Moriarty's technology. I like that kind of stuff where it's like it explains itself. It's like, well, that's not real. It's like, well, that's the point. It's something that's far more advanced than it should be. So I like that. And yeah. It's a definite flip on for me because I don't know. I enjoyed it again as I expected to.
Yeah, and to kind of go in on what you're saying, so apparently with the comic book, this is we're talking early 2000 internet here. People were dedicating entire web pages to individual panels because of so much like background on the characters that there is. And they're like, oh my God. And you see that bottle that Captain Nemo used? He used that bottle in this scene of the book.
Oh, that's cool.
So people apparently the comic is really true to the characters from the stories.
Good.
Nice.
All right, Sam. Last but not least, what would you say?
I have no idea. I'm literally, I know I say I'm on the fence all the time, and I'm like, I can usually get to a decision, but I think this is the first time I'm literally stuck in the middle of the road. I don't fucking know which way to go. Because, here's the thing, I think it's a really cool idea, and I thought that, like I said, the production design and the way that it felt was really cool. But then I'm struggling with the fact that I saw it too late. It feels like to where it feels like a lot of other movies at the same time. And so,
it's hard to put this in front of it since it's behind it in your head.
Mm-hmm. But there was nothing really that, stood out to me as, I had some beef, right? But it's not anything, remarkably bad.
Yeah. Flip a coin. Here you go.
Yeah, I think I'll have to. Because I was like, would I stop for it on TV? I was like, I don't know. I mean, I guess if y'all wanted to watch it, I wouldn't tell you no. I don't know what I was supposed to be doing with that.
You're supposed to choose.
I didn't choose.
Why did you just flip it?
I just flipped it without choosing.
There's a bear and a bears is flip it on, mountain is flip it off. Okay.
Here, flip this. Oh, I flipped it. Now what?
She really did flip a coin today.
Okay, all right. All right. Mountains are flip on. How's that?
She's flipping it on.
Flipping it on according to the coin.
All right. Nailed it.
So all three of us flipped it on, Sam.
Yeah,
there you go. But moving on to next week, we have 2 categories remaining. Award-winning and pick 3. So it's a very beautiful half and half chart. You know what? I'm even more excited to spin next week. All right, Sam. I'm going to spin it. I don't know. It could be 1 or 2. I don't know. Oh, I know what it is. There it goes. Award-winning.
Whoa.
I wonder what Tim's getting next week.
What? A lot of mystery behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was almost kind of hoping award-winning sunk to the last one so that we could be like, award-winning, finish on the season.
Yeah, but pick 3 I feel like is a better note to end on.
It is the one that we had to replace with. Because remember, we had the technical issues earlier in the season.
Yeah.
We had to add this category back in. So it kind of makes sense. So award-winning is the quote-unquote correct one.
Yeah. Also, I feel like we are crazy, and so for it to end on pick 3 makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. But, Tim, I really want to make you do the laugh again.
You mean the
Exactly that. And I feel like that's just, I'm
I
going to
feel like we
save
should
that.
just snip that, yeah, and
I'm
that'll
gonna
be
make
our
that
outro
that's
instead
gonna
of
be
the
my new outro for
music.
season 3.
Yeah. There you go.
We'll get a few
Intro
takes of
and
it.
outro.
I could do a better one. But
All
Okay,
right.
yeah,
Right
we'll
now.
yeah, we'll get some takes going, Tim, and we'll save it, and then we'll just make that our outro music. But instead, you're gonna hear this.